Sailing Away to Nod. Written by Brenda M. Spalding. Illustrated by Jacqueline Pasquet Gill. Dedicated to my grandson who never wants to get on that ship and sail to Nod. Once upon a time, a young boy sailed on an ink-black sea. The stars overhead twinkled, and the moon showed the way. The little boat tossed and followed the wind to a far distant shore. The little boy left the boat and went to explore as he had done so many times before. He trudged through the sand and followed the tracks that the sea turtles made. Along the way, he gathered some shells and some smooth round stones, still warm from the sun, and some bright pieces of sea glass, all left by the waves. Beyond the sand and beyond the trees, he could see the bright-colored flags waving on a castle high on a hill. He followed the path through the cool, dark forest until he came to a clearing in the woods. In the clearing was a small cottage in need of repair. The roof was all sagging and the door off its hinges. A strange little man sat in front of the door, smoking a long-stemmed pipe. He had an old battered hat perched on top of his head, and a long white beard that matched the hair on his head. A gnome? A dwarf? The boy couldn't tell. The man looked up as the boy approached. "Go away. There is nothing left to steal," growled the little man. "I'm not here to steal," replied the boy. "I'm here to explore and see what I can see in this land of Nod." "Well, go explore someplace else. I have nothing left to steal." "A giant lives in these woods. He took my cow, so I have no milk. He took my chickens, so I have no eggs. He took my beehives, so I have no honey to sell at the market. I shall probably starve." "I'm so sorry for your troubles and wish I could help," said the boy. "Well, you can't, so just go away," shouted the little man. The young boy left the clearing and followed the path into the woods again. The path got steeper as he started to climb. Leaving the trees behind him, he saw a very large house with a very large door. There were chickens in the yard and a cow in the pen. He knew right away it was the giant's house he saw. A little way off, he could hear someone crying. He followed the sound, and under a tree was the biggest, tallest man he had ever seen, bigger even than his dad. The giant had long black hair and a long black beard. His clothes were all dirty and torn. His head in his hands, he was crying and moaning. "I only wanted some honey. I meant them no harm." The giant looked up and shouted at the boy, "What do you want? Just go away, please." "I don't want anything," said the boy. "I'm here to explore and see what I can see in this land of Nod." "Why are you crying? A big giant like you?" continued the boy. "I'm crying because I have all these bee stings. I like honey, but the bees won't let me have any. They just get mad and sting me all over," he cried even louder. "Well, maybe you should give them back to the little man down the hill. Then they won't sting you any more," said the little boy. With that, the boy continued to follow the path up and toward the castle on the hill he walked. Inside the castle walls, for great fair was being held. There were acrobats and jugglers wearing bright colors, and a man breathing fire, just like a dragon. There were stilt walkers weaving their way through the crowds. The gypsies in their tents were telling fortunes for money. They used a mystic ball and claimed to see all. "Not one stall has any honey," exclaimed the young girl as she stamped her foot and started to wail. She turned and noticed the boy and shouted, "What do you want? Just go away, please, unless you have some honey to sell." "I don't have any honey," replied the boy. "I'm here to explore and see what I can see in this land of Nod." "Go explore somewhere else," the little girl stormed. She stomped her small foot and continued to cry. "I'm sorry my daughter has such bad manners. I'm afraid she's a bit spoiled," a well-dressed man said. He was dressed all in black, embroidered with silver. He had silver buttons on his coat and silver buckles on his shoe. He made quite a sight. "I am King Alfred, and this rude little child is my daughter, Princess Charlotte. Won't you join us and enjoy the fair?" asked the king. "I have a problem to solve, and I can't delay," the young boy bowed. "I know a little man. He used to sell honey. A giant stole his hives, but gets stung by the bees," the young boy said as a plan formed in his head. The boy followed the path back down through the trees to the giant's house. The giant was still sitting under a tree, just shaking his head and wiping his tears. "I have a plan to get you some honey," said the boy to the giant. "You will need to say sorry to the man down the hill. Return what you stole, and you may find a friend." "I don't have any friends," cried the giant. "Everyone is afraid of me because of my size." "I'm not afraid of you, and I'll be your friend. I'll give you a gift of something I found," said the boy, and he dug into his pack. He pulled out the stones he found on the sand. "I found these exploring. They're special, you see. They came from the sea and were warmed by the sun." The giant put out his great hand and took the stones. "They feel smooth and warm," he told the boy. "They smell of the sea, and I like the colors, each of them different, just like you and me. I thank you for these stones from the sea. I'll be your friend and return the bees to the man down the hill. I'll return his chickens and his milk cow too. It's a promise, you'll see." They gathered up the chickens and tied the cow to the cart. Together they went down the hill to the little man's clearing. The little man still sat smoking his pipe when he saw the boy and the giant coming down the path. "I have nothing left to steal. You have it all," shouted the little man, throwing his hat in the dust and shaking his fist. "I'm not here to steal. I'm here to give back," said the giant. "I took your chickens, your cow, and your beehive. I'm sorry." The little man looked surprised to get these things back. "I thank you for this. I don't get very much kindness. Most people make fun of me because of my size. I don't have any friends." "I'll be your friend," said the boy to the man. "I don't mind your size. I'll give you a gift of something I found." The boy dug in his pack and pulled out a shell. "I found this exploring. It's special, you see. Put it up to your ear and you can hear the sea roar." The little man put the shell to his ear and heard the sea roar. He passed it to the giant for him to try. The giant smiled as he heard the roar too. Then the giant dug into his pocket and pulled out his stones and gave them to the little man to hold. "My name is Ambrose," the little man said. "They call me Fergus," the big man replied. The boy saw the little man and the giant were going to be friends. They put the chickens in the yard and the cow in a pen. The little man showed them how not to get stung as they settled the bees. "I'll even help you fix your house. I'm truly sorry," Fergus said. "We have work to do, friends," said the boy. "There is a fair at the castle where you can sell your honey. A princess I met would like to buy some." Together, they got honey ready for the fair. They decided to make some special honey for the princess. Pretty jars with pink bows would be perfect for her. When they were ready, they followed the path back up to the castle on the hill. To their disappointment, the fair was all over. All the traders were gone. "We're too late," groaned the little man. "We'll go to the castle and give the princess her honey," the young boy said bravely. So off to the castle the three new friends went. The giant knocked on the door, sure to be heard. "What do you want?" A guard grumbled loudly as he opened the door. "We have honey for Princess Charlotte," they all chimed together. All through the castle they followed the guard. They reached the throne room, and there was the king. Beside him sat the queen and Princess Charlotte. "Oh, what have we here?" asked the king with a chuckle. "My friends and I have brought some honey for Princess Charlotte," the boy told the king. "I thought your friend, the giant, had stolen the beehives from your other friend," questioned the king. "The hives were returned, and now we are friends. We all work together to bring you the honey," the little man smiled. "We would like to be friends with Princess Charlotte and bring her our honey as much as she wants. My name is Ambrose," said the little man with a bow. "And my large friend is Fergus." "I never had any friends before. I would like to be yours," said the princess. "I'll be your friend too," said the boy. "I'll give you a gift of something I found." He dug in his pack and pulled out the pieces of shiny sea glass. "I found these exploring. They're special, you see. They came from the sea." The giant and the little man joined the princess to look at the glass. Ambrose showed Charlotte how to hear the sea roar with his shell, and Fergus let her hold his smooth, pretty stones. The three were now friends. The boy slipped away and followed the path back down to the sea. He sailed off again on the inky black sea. The little boat tossed and rocked in the wind. His adventure was over, and it was time to go back. He heard someone calling his name far away. He rubbed the sleep from his eyes, and the calling got louder. The boat came to rest as he opened his eyes. "Michael! Michael! Get up, sleepyhead!" He heard his mum calling. "There's honey and biscuits and a nice cup of tea." Michael tried to remember his adventure and nod, but like all the others, they just slipped away. The end.